What's up, guys? This is Justin. I'm here with Sam.
Tolkien
nerd Sam Claiborne, and this is the new trailer. Came out today, the trailer for The Hobbit 2, Electric Boogaloo.
You're right, The Legend of Curly's Gold. Now it's called The Desolation of Smaug, and we're going to see a lot of the desolation that Smaug has created and where, in this trailer. However, it starts out with a nice, pretty shot of glimmering gold inside the Lonely Mountain.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you, so
Look at the shimmers on the wall.
It's crazy.
Like, I think that's supposed to be the reflections of the gold.
It's always a little bit strange when you see a book, turned into a movie for the first time, because you picture something in your mind and you see it. But like this just gigantic mountain of gold that, at the end of the trailer you'll see Smaug the dragon is sort of
so
inside
this is from the part of the book in which Bilbo is sneaking around and talking to Smaug, and we're going to hear a little bit of Bilbo. Actually, if you want to play it right now, Bilbo is actually talking to Smaug.
Yeah, he's sort of trying to sweet talk him a little bit.
Yeah, check this out. So this is kind of interesting because he's flattering Smaug.
Yeah.
There's another thing I noticed that was interesting about that little scene, too, is that you can see Bilbo.
Yeah.
And he has the ring on when he's talking to Smaug, so I don't really understand. Usually in the movies, when he puts on his ring, he flips out of the picture, just like the Lord of the Rings movies.
I mean, they might have changed it from the book, right?
Well, I'm just saying, they could have changed it, like he's in the dark, but we're going to see a scene later where he's, kind of close to being attacked by Smaug. So
yeah,
I don't really know.
So why wouldn't he just pop that ring on? That's actually a great question.
I don't understand. But that scene, the dialogue is straight out of the book. It's very similar. So here's a picture of the Wood Elves cave that they live in Mirkwood.
It's very, very cool.
Yeah, the dwarves and Bilbo have been captured here. And what do you think of this? I mean, it looks like a painting to me. It doesn't look like the kind of the realistic, gritty-looking Lord of the Rings movies, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the big complaints with The Hobbit, and I actually like The Hobbit quite a bit, but one of my complaints was that it did seem more CG. Everything seemed a little bit more artificial. It didn't seem as much like, real characters, real places.
This almost looks like a matte painting, but you can see as you tilt the video back and forth here, you can see it rendering. I mean, it's a full 3D scene. That's impressive, I'd say.
I like the set design of it a lot. I think they had a challenge to make it look different than other sort of elf houses, and I think they accomplished that. And, I think it's gorgeous design-wise.
Yeah. So actually, this is a very different scene right there. The ash indicates that this is from some scenes we're going to see later in this trailer, and from near the end of the movie, I would assume, where Smaug is attacking. So whenever you see ash, you think of a big dragon flying around burning stuff.
Oh, I didn't notice until we saw the freeze frame that you got little Bilbo in the corner there.
Yeah, he's so short. Everybody's on boxes but him. So here's Thranduil. This is not only the king of the elves, which is not named, actually. The king of the wood elves is not named in The Hobbit. He's also Legolas' father. So they actually got Legolas into this movie via that connection.
Yeah, we're going to see plenty of him in this trailer. They really play him up. What?
He's kind of evil. Two dwarves.
Yeah.
He's evil two dwarves.
Yeah, sure. This is another absolutely
really cool.
gorgeous, blink and you'll miss it shot.
So speaking of the Desolation of Smaug, this is the area that they call the Desolation of Smaug. It's the running river north of Lake Town. They're probably there's like 3 ships that took the hobbits up to the Lonely Mountain, and this is them paddling through kind of the ruins of.
And this is another, again, when you picture things in your mind, I sort of picture this big hoard of gold, and they matched it completely. But this sort of moody, dark, it's in the ruins, and it's very ruined and messed up.
Dragon smoke everywhere.
Yeah, like they did an incredible job with this. If the final product looks anything like it does in this trailer. Oh,
that's Thranduil again. They're really jumping around in the movie here. So this is probably right before that scene in which we just saw with the desolation. Like they're paddling right up on the Lonely Mountain here. And you can see a kind of like haze of Smaug's smog around this too.
Yeah, it's hard to know exactly what CG and what they were actually able to film in New Zealand, but it does seem like this was probably doctored to be a little bit gloomier. There's some dark clouds in there just so it's not, super cheery and bright.
It just looks so Peter Jackson to me.
Yeah, it's like that's the sort of the hero shot of the mountain, and then you get the hero shot of our intrepid dwarf leader.
What's cool though is that this scene is so amazing because this is them climbing up to the hidden door on the Lonely Mountain.
Yep.
The hobbits and the dwarves sneak through the back door. But if you look at it very closely, on the right is the staircase that they just followed to get up there, and they're on the sword or the axe that the dwarf is holding there.
And do you see?
And you can see them moving.
Do you think that's their camp over in the left, or is that just a rock? We have this blown up on a big screen, and I'm not even sure over there.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
Side.
I mean, it's such an amazing shot because you kind of focus on the giant dwarven carving, but then you see that there's tiny little hobbits and dwarves.
Yeah, it reminds me
I love the detail of the stairs. You can see them on the stairs climbing up.
Yep.
How cool
So
is that?
that's exactly. I feel like when most people watch this trailer, they'll obviously see them climbing up the sword, but the rest of the party is climbing up those steps down there in the corner. Really,
Just amazing.
really cool.
So this would be you can see Bober right down there, this bald spot on his head. Bomber. Sorry. Yes, Bomber in a barrel, probably the biggest barrel of all because he's the fat dwarf, and some elves trying to prevent him from getting out.
So are we? Sam, are we assuming that someone that's watching this Rewind Theater has read the books? Are we allowed to spoil what we think we're seeing?
Yeah.
So obviously,
especially since it's in the middle of the book.
That's a good point. The dwarves are captured by the elves. The elves are a little bit evil in the book, and then this is how they escape: is they escape in barrels that get tossed down the river.
Yeah, and if there's that river that you see in the next scene here is connected to this scene, we're actually seeing orcs attack the elves while the hobbit and the dwarves are escaping.
Yeah,
which is added.
It's hard to tell whether because this is movie editing, right, or this is trailer editing rather. So you have these scenes butted right up against each other to look like they go together. So yeah, it is edited to look like there's orcs involved in this when they're not in the book. But this could be from a totally
there's definitely more wood elves battling.
We do get our very first look right here.
This is Evangeline Lilly.
Evangeline Lilly from Lost,
and she's playing a character called Tariel, who did not exist in the book at all or in Legendarium of Tolkien. So she's added in pretty much to be, I think, a love interest of Legolas, which we've seen a bit.
Yeah, I think she's added for that reason, and she's also added just so, The Hobbit, even more so than Lord of the Rings, just has absolutely no female characters at all. So just have some sort of, feminine female presence on screen.
Yep.
They invented a new character. I know a lot of people are really upset about it. I need to see the movie to judge for myself, but I'm okay with, at least getting a woman in the mix.
Yep. So here we see that Azog, who should not be alive by this time in the normal Tolkien universe, but of course he was brought back to be a big enemy character in the movies.
By far, well, maybe not by far, but in my opinion, probably the most controversial change that Peter Jackson made to the filming of these movies, inventing an entire.
He's the
villain.
Jar Jar of these movies, I'd say.
I agree, and there was he was originally meant to be a practical effect, and then they painted over him and made him CG. And Azog is. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about him.
There's a cool story behind him. I mean, it's neat that Thorin killed him originally, but he should. I don't know. It's strange that they needed another name. But
she looks very good as an elf.
Yeah, I think so. She is a very unaged look, unlike I would say Legolas's look.
He looks old.
He does.
We were commenting on this. I don't know if this is a weird, superficial thing to look at.
Yeah, Orlando Bloom.
He just looks different. He looks older, and he doesn't look the same. And it seems so strange because, Peter Jackson has such a incredible... Well, there he looks more like himself.
Yeah, I think so. There's certain shots, but you saw that shot in the dark earlier. And then, and speaking of that, if you can rewind to that, there's a very strange fight scene going on.
Yeah, where we're not actually sure exactly where they are.
Yeah,
right
I
here.
think it might be Dol Guldur, or is he?
It looks
fighting...
like they're in town.
Yeah,
is he going to be at Lake Town?
In Lake Town? I don't know if he's pursuing the hobbits or what. That's
that
the least flattering shot of him, I think. Right there.
It's really bad. I don't have any problem with Legolas coming back. Besides that, he does look older, which doesn't make any sense.
Oh, I think it's cool that he's connecting the movies.
Yeah,
he should be there. He's related to the Elf King. It makes sense.
I liked this shot because that's blatantly taken from that's his Lord of the Rings move, right? Whoop.
Of course. Yep. Still a badass. Younger, but supposed to be the same, appearance.
Yeah. So getting some hints here that this is sort of a love story, but we're still not exactly sure. Ooh, this is cool.
Yeah. So this is Dale under the Lonely Mountain, the town of Min. I didn't expect it to be built up this much, but you do see this being attacked by Smaug in the beginning of the first Hobbit movie.
Yeah. I agree with you completely. When I picture Dale in my head, and I guess, we don't want to spend too much time talking about what, 12-year-old Sam and Justin saw, but I saw it as much more of just docks and sort of low, right on the river. And, I didn't expect it to be quite as, Minas Tirith-esque.
Yeah, exactly. But it is a place built by men, and it is in a dale, and it's at the foot of the Lonely Mountain, so we know it's Dale.
And it does look gorgeous.
As I said, this is the ash going around here. Mm-hmm. It's not snow; it's ash. This is after Smaug has been stolen from and is in the sky flying around. So we're going to see this guy Bard Bard the Bowman, played by Luke Evans.
It does seem like we're getting some, just based on the flickering lighting and stuff, that there's probably things on fire around them.
Exactly, yeah. They're fighting. They're at Lake Town and fighting. Everything's wood, as you can see. Yep. And in this part specifically, he's questioning Thorin about what right he had to go wake up the damn dragon. Like, why did he go do that?
It's like you're
and he's saying
our
it's
town.
my right to do it.
You're wrecking our town, bro.
Yep, it's his home. So here's our first glimpse of the spiders in Mirkwood. I think they look pretty different from Shelob, even though they're all supposed to be the spawns of Ungoliant, which is Shelob's
I think they did that
ancestor.
On purpose, though, just so people wouldn't be confused about. Although I guess they could. You're right; they are her spawn. Yeah. So maybe it looks like that's probably dwarves tied up there.
I think so. I think those are little bundles of dwarfs, if not just like forest animals.
I
feel
you're
bad for them.
certainly right.
I like the brambles and stuff. Speaking of brambles, they cover Dol Guldur here, which is actually a location talked about in the Lord of the Rings and related books, but we never actually see Gandalf go there and fight and stuff. But he does in this movie. They kind of gloss over some notes that Tolkien made, and
it's another fairly controversial addition to the movies. But
So I think this might be a scene from the Battle of the Five Armies. So I think we're going to see maybe the setup to that at the end of the Hobbit.
Yeah, this jumped out at me, is that I didn't think they were covering.
They're carrying banners, as you can see in the background. They're going to war. There's a lot of them. Unless this is a flashback, this is probably on the Lonely Mountain.
And we also, the thing about trailers is that they could cheat slightly and be like, let's slip 1 second from the third movie in there just to have, a dramatic beat. Like, we don't know for sure, but I agree that's probably that's one of the.
It makes me excited because I think I've been missing Peter Jackson's battle scenes. This is Gandalf in Dol Guldur running from probably a ring wraith who haven't taken form yet, and then we see a cool flash of Sauron, who hasn't even been really talked about or mentioned except in as the necromancer. So they're kind of making the connection between the necromancer. I love this. This is my favorite scene in The Hobbit, where Bilbo finally sees light at the top of the trees and climbs up, and there's just butterflies everywhere. I can't wait for this part. It's going to be cool.
I agree. This movie, say what you will about The Hobbit, but it's absolutely gorgeous visually.
Look at that. He dropped his ring somehow, probably in the fight with the spiders. Now, this is really interesting, though, because they have a voiceover of Bilbo telling the dwarves he discovered the ring and how it works and stuff. But he never tells Gandalf about that. Yeah. And that's a point of contention.
Yep.
Gandalf kind of course, figures it out. But he does tell the dwarves.
He doesn't figure it out for a couple decades.
Yep, that's right.
You're completely right. I don't think it's incredibly...
because of the ring's power has already taken him over.
Right. Like, this is the thing. Like, he's already not being completely honest about discovering the ring. He doesn't know why. He doesn't know what it is. He doesn't know its significance. But for some reason, he's already compelled to not be truthful. And that's...
And this is earlier, right? This is before Gandalf leaves the party. But later, he does tell the dwarves, because he's kind of backed into a corner. They're like... How the hell did you save us from those spiders? And he has to explain.
It seems like this is probably almost at the beginning of the movie.
I think so. I think this is like still on the steps of the Eyrie when they're escaping. Gandalf looks great. Okay, terrifying spider battles. Now, this is my favorite part. So if you rewind, we were just talking about this earlier. Here is a shot of Beorn as a bear.
Oh, man, this is why I love doing rewind videos, because I watched this trailer really carefully, and somehow I completely missed
We're talking about less than a second of this, much less. So, and they cut this to make it seem like he's chasing them into his own home, which I don't really understand, but we do get the sense in the book that he's kind of out of control when he's in a bear form. And Gandalf is like, you should really stay away from the bears you see, even if they're him.
Yep.
But I think this is Beorn's hall here, because, it's thicketed and brambly and overgrown.
You're exactly right.
I can't tell what those little spires are in the background. Those look like some kind of carvings, though.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
Maybe they're stood up bears.
Yeah, just ornamentation for his house.
I think they might be bears. I can't tell though.
More the barrel escape.
Yeah, I love that. Great shot.
Yep, I really like that too.
So this next scene is after Bilbo has taken a treasure from Smaug. Smaug attacks everybody, and we're going to see that in this movie, which makes me really excited. Because, we still don't know the end point of this movie.
Yeah, that's actually a great point. We're seeing, I don't know the exact final chronological moment. I guess we've seen some stuff
but
after.
There's many clues right in these couple scenes, and one of them is that Bard the Bowman back there was just taking his bow out and probably going to shoot it at Smaug. There he is.
Yep.
He eventually brings down the dragon. So it's like, what is that going to happen in this movie? I think so. I think we might see right up to the start of the Battle of the Five Armies.
You think we might see the dragon go down in this movie?
I think so. Yeah.
Interesting.
Or something. I mean, there's got to be some big conclusion.
This strikes me as a shot that will end up being color corrected in the final movie. By the way,
A lot of
it's
this is
very
pretty
bright
dim.
and cheery right now.
Yep. So if you back up, there's elves fighting on the wall in some place. Maybe Dol Guldur. Maybe there's going to be an elven battle here with the spiders and the orcs and everything. This is where we saw Azog too, and I just can't figure out where.
If anyone's watching this at home and you have an idea of where
exactly,
like what, like this is just.
And who's
strange.
that guy? It appears to be a man with some sort of crown on, and I cannot figure out who it is.
I don't know either.
Yeah. Or where this is. Sorry, this is the only part where I failed you.
Is he wearing? I don't think he's wearing
maybe
anything.
it's
I think it's
just
just his hair.
Yeah. But
That's not one of the dwarfs, is it?
Yeah, it could be. He has a stick, and I mean, I'm sorry.
Sure, we do our best here, but this moment has us a little bit
It's just
stumped.
too blurry for me to make out, is the thing.
Yep.
So again, this is back in the ashes scene where they're arguing that we talked about earlier. I love that.
Wop, it's so cool.
So, and you notice where they are. They see the mountains in the background. They appear to be in Dale.
Yeah.
So that means that they're not fighting off the dragon from Lake Town. They're fighting him off from Dale. Or is this part of the Battle of the Five Armies?
There's no way that
really
they would
hard
make
to see.
this the arrow that takes him out, would they?
No. It's just that,
I mean,
that's
I mean, it wouldn't.
That's a ballista, I believe those are called.
Yeah, it seems like people would be really mad about that, but like, what's he doing?
Mm-hmm.
Like he's firing at something.
Yep. Well, there's definitely a dragon attacking Dale, I think, here. There it is. I love how the dragon fire is explosive, by the way. I think that's really powerful to show that. It doesn't melt stone, it blows it up.
More Legolas shenanigans. Or what's that?
Yeah, Legolas is fighting spiders alongside Tariel.
Yeah, so they're definitely taking... Oh, yeah, we glossed over that earlier.
It's
they
definitely
are there
a Dol
fighting
Guldur
the
attack.
spiders.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, well, so they don't fight. There's no wood elves when the spiders are attacking the dwarves.
No, but there's a chance that, again, they're taking lots of liberties. Like, maybe that's part of how they escape, and that's how they end up with the dwarves to begin with.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. It's
because this doesn't look like
this
Dol.
is all changed from the book, but we can speculate.
It looks like forest to me, but yeah, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, well, it could be Dol Guldur in the forest. That's
look
part
at
of
how
Mirkwood.
thick, like, the spider's web is.
Yeah,
he can actually, and I guess Legolas has like light on his feet, but still, he can slide down this super thick web.
I love that. Here's Thorin actually being attacked by Smaug, which is a neat shot. Probably down a very long hallway, so he's safe. But
getting a good hero shot going.
Yeah, I really like that. So at this point, Thorin is making Bilbo go steal stuff for them. He's like, "You're a thief. Go prove it." Right?
Yeah.
But Balin here is saying he's not just a thief. He's Bilbo. Yeah, he's our friend.
He's our bro. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit weird. Like I felt like Thorin, and I guess we'll see how the movie evolves. But I felt like their relationship had evolved past this sort of weird, antagonistic.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But as you know, as Thorin gets closer to his hoard and his own home, it overtakes him. Sure. The power of gold overtakes him more than others. Even Balin says in the end, hey, like we should share this, probably split it up, not go. But then they all just go to battle with everybody because they're selfish dwarves obsessed with gold. You know,
man,
this is the big clincher here, right?
The voice is so good, by the way.
Yeah,
I don't know if people are going to be able to hear it now.
Benedict Cumberbatch, as Smaug's voice.
A heavily, heavily filtered Benedict Cumberbatch, but it's still, to me, this is the highlight of the trailer. The voice is so good.
Yeah, look at Smaug. He Scrooge McDucks through his own gold here.
Yep.
And I want to show you something. Look in the far left over there. Bilbo is standing. Visible. So again, I don't know why it's being filmed this way.
I don't even see him on the big screen.
He's on the far left. Being showered.
Oh, I do see him right there.
And if you go even more forward, they change the camera around. You can see him even more. But there he is. He's hiding.
Yeah.
He tumbles down.
Yeah, he's running away.
So how does Smaug not see him? Smaug is supposed to smell him, but not be able to see or hear him because he's quiet and he has a ring on, right? Hobbits are naturally
So look at this. He's hiding around that pillar, and then he's just going to be like, "Nope, peace out."
So I wonder if, for the sake of filming, they did make him visible to us.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he doesn't have his ring for some reason, or it's hard telling. But that, Benedict Cumberbatch's voice is so good. Smaug looks so good.
There it is. So you really need to watch this on a computer or a TV screen where you can turn up the brightness because you can see all of Smaug here. It's just really dark, but you can see his wings, you can see his body, his face. It's just really, really cool.
Yep. I agree. And I agree with you that I like his sort of explosive fire. I feel like, fire breath for dragons is really hard to pull off without it seeming cheesy. And
absolutely.
They really did a great job.
So that wraps up the second trailer for The Hobbit, Desolation of Smaug. Thanks for checking that out. And, I think we're going to be doing at least one more of these before the movie comes out because there'll probably be a theatrical release trailer by then.
I agree. I'm super excited. I was so on The Hobbit, but this, I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited to see Dale. I'm excited to see Bard the Bowman. I'm excited to see Smaug.
So am I. And as I said before, I'm excited to see a big battle. So hopefully that'll be coming in this movie. Plus dragons.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you,
for
Justin.
dropping some Tolkien knowledge on us. Everyone at home, thank you for watching. Remember that for all things Hobbit and just all things nerd in general, you should keep it locked to IGN.
We're here for you.